Reading to the Bible in 1 year, May 9th, Numbers 17 through 18, Psalm 55, Isaiah 7, and James chapter 1. All right. Let's see. There we go. All right. The Lord instructed Moses, speak to the Israelites and take one staff from them, for each ancestral tribe. 12 staffs from all the leaders of their tribes. Each man must write his name on his staff. Write Aaron's name on Levi's staff, because there is no one. Nope, I said that wrong. It's going to be one of these days. I'm just telling you. It's been a long day. Write Aaron's name on Levi's staff, because there is to be one staff for the head of each tribe. There we go. The staff of the man I choose will sprout, and I will rid myself of the Israelites' complaints that they have been making about you. So Moses spoke to the Israelites, and each one of their leaders gave him a staff, one for each of the elders of their tribes, 12 staffs in all. Aaron's staff was among them. Moses placed the staffs before the Lord in the tent of the testimony. The next day, Moses entered the tent of the testimony and saw that Aaron's staff, representing the house of Levi, had sprouted, formed buds, blossomed, and produced almonds. Again, it was a stick. Moses then brought out all the staffs from the Lord's presence to all the Israelites. They saw them, and each man took his own staff. The Lord told Moses, put Aaron's staff back in front of the testimony to be kept as a sign for the rebels, so that you may put an end to their complaints before me, or else they will die. So Moses did as the Lord had commanded him. Then the Israelites declared to Moses, look, we are perishing. We're lost. We're all lost. Anyone who comes near the Lord's tabernacle will die. Will we all perish? The Lord said to Aaron, you, your sons, and your ancestral family will be responsible for the iniquity against the sanctuary. You and your sons will be responsible for iniquity involving your priesthood. But also, bring your relatives with you from the tribe of Levi, your ancestral tribe, so that they may join you and assist you and your sons in front of the tent of the testimony. They are to perform duties for you and for the whole tent. They must not come near the sanctuary equipment or the altar. Otherwise, both they and you will die. They are to join you and guard the tent of meeting, doing all the work at the tent, but no unauthorized person may come near you. You are to guard the sanctuary and the altar so that the wrath may not fall on the Israelites again. Look, I have selected your fellow Levites from the Israelites as a gift for you, assigned by the Lord to work at the tent of meeting. But you and your sons will carry out your priestly responsibilities for everything concerning the altar and for what is inside the curtain. And you will do that work. I am giving you the work of the priesthood as a gift, but an unauthorized person who comes near the sanctuary will be put to death. Then the Lord spoke to Aaron. Look, I have put you in charge of the contributions brought to me. As for all the holy offerings of the Israelites, I have given them to you and your sons as a permanent statute. A portion of the holiest offerings kept from the fire will be yours. Every one of their offerings that they gave me, whether the grain offering, the sin offering, or guilt offering, will be most holy for you and your sons. You are to eat it as a most holy offering. Every male may eat it. It is to be holy to you. The contribution of their gifts also belongs to you. I have given all the Israelites presentation offerings to you and to your sons and daughters as a permanent statute. Every ceremonially clean person in your house may eat it. I am giving you all the best of the fresh oil, new wine, and grain, which the Israelites give to the Lord as their firstfruits. The firstfruits of all that is in their land, which they bring to the Lord, belong to you. Every clean person in your house may eat them. Everything in Israel that is permanently dedicated to the Lord belongs to you. The firstborn of every living thing, animal or human, presented to the Lord belongs to you. But you must certainly redeem a human firstborn and redeem the firstborn of any unclean animal. Because again, unclean animals can't be sacrificed and human beings can't be sacrificed. That's a thing. The firstborn of every living thing, human or animal, presented to the Lord. I already read that. You will pay the redemption price for a month-old male according to your assessment, 5 shekels of silver by the standard sanctuary shekel, which is 20 gerahs. However, you must not redeem the firstborn of an ox, a sheep, or a goat. They are holy. You are to splatter their blood on the altar and burn their fat as a food offering for a pleasing aroma to the Lord. But their meat belongs to you. It belongs to you like the breast of the presentation, or wave, offering, and the right thigh. I give to you and your sons and your daughters all the holy contributions that the Israelites present to the Lord as a permanent statute. It is a permanent covenant of salt before the Lord for you as well as your offspring. The Lord told Aaron, "You will not have an inheritance in their land. There will be no portion among them for you. I am your portion and your inheritance among the Israelites. Look, I have given the Levites every tenth in Israel as an inheritance in return for the work that they do, the work of the tent of meeting. The Israelites must never again come near the tent of meeting, or they will incur guilt and die. The Levites will do the work of the tent of meeting, and they will bear the consequences of their iniquity. The Levites will not receive an inheritance among the Israelites. This is a permanent statute throughout your generations. For I have given them the tenth that the Israelites present to the Lord as a contribution for their inheritance. That is why I told them that they would not receive an inheritance among the Israelites." The Lord instructed Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them, when you receive from the Israelites the tenth that I have given you as your inheritance, you are to present part of it as an offering to the Lord, a tenth of the tenth. Your offering will be credited to you as if it were your grain from the threshing floor or the full harvest from the winepress. You are to present an offering to the Lord from every tenth you receive from the Israelites. Give some of it to the priest Aaron as an offering to the Lord. You must present the entire offering due the Lord from all your gifts. The best part of the tenth is to be consecrated. Tell them further, once you have presented the best part of the tenth, and it is credited to you Levites as the produce of the threshing floor or the winepress, then you and your household may eat it anywhere. It is your wage in return for your work at the tent of meeting, and you will not incur guilt because of it once you have presented the best part of it. But you must not defile the Israelites' holy offerings so that you will not die." Now let's move on to Psalm 55. God, listen to my prayer, and do not hide from my plea for help. Pay attention to me and answer me. I am restless and in turmoil with my complaint because of the enemy's words, because of the pressure of the wicked, for they bring down disaster on me and harass me in anger. My heart shudders within me. Terrors of death sweep over me. Fear and trembling grip me. Horror has overwhelmed me. I said, if I only had wings like a dove, I would fly away and find rest. How far away I would flee. I would stay in the wilderness. I would hurry to my shelter from the raging wind and the storm. Lord, confuse and confound their speech. For I see violence and strife in the city. Day and night they make rounds on its walls. Crime and trouble are within it. Destruction is inside it. Oppression and deceit never leave its marketplace. Now, It is not an enemy who insults me, otherwise I could bear it. It is not a foe who rises up against me, otherwise I could hide from him. But it is you, a man who is my peer, my companion and good friend. We used to have close fellowship. We walked with the crowd into the house of God. Let death take them by surprise. Let them go down to Sheol, the place of the dead, alive, because evil is in their homes and within them. But I call to God, and the Lord will save me. I complain and groan morning, noon, and night, and he hears my voice. Though many are against me, he will redeem me from my battle unharmed. God, the one enthroned from long ago, will hear and humiliate them, because they do not change and do not fear God. My friend acts violently against those at peace with him. He violates his covenant. His buttery words are smooth, but war is in his heart. His words are softer than oil, but they are drawn swords. There we go, making sure we didn't lose any notes. Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never allow the righteous to be shaken. God, you will bring them down to the pit of destruction. Men of bloodshed and treachery will not live out half their days. But I will trust in you. Move on to Isaiah chapter 7 now. This took place during the reign of Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzziah, king of Judah. Aram's king, Rezin, and Israel's king, Pekah, son of Remaliah, went to fight against Jerusalem, but they were not able to conquer it. When it became known to the house of David that Aram had occupied Ephraim, the heart of Ahaz and the hearts of his people trembled like trees in a forest shaking in the wind. The Lord said to Isaiah, "Go out with your son Shear-Jashub to meet Ahaz at the end of the conduit of the upper pool, by the road to the launderer's field, and say to him, calm down and be quiet. Don't be afraid or cowardly because of these two smoldering sticks, the fierce anger of Rezin and Aram and the son of Remaliah. For Aram, along with Ephraim and the son of Remaliah, has plotted harm against you. They say, let us go up against Judah, terrorize it, and conquer it for ourselves. Then we can install Tabeel's son as king in it. This is what the Lord God says. It will not happen. It will not occur. The chief city of Aram is Damascus, and the chief of Damascus is Rezin. Within 65 years, Ephraim will be too shattered to be a people. The chief of Ephraim is Samaria, and the chief of Samaria is the son of Remaliah. If you do not stand firm in your faith, then you will not stand at all." Then the Lord spoke again to Ahaz. "Ask for a sign from the Lord your God. It can be as deep as Sheol or as high as heaven." But Ahaz replied, I will not ask. I will not test the Lord. Again, God is telling him to. And Isaiah said, "Listen, house of David, is it not enough for you to try the patience of men? Will you also try the patience of my God? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. See, the virgin will conceive, have a son, and name him Emmanuel. By the time he learns to reject what is bad and choose what is good, he will be eating curds and honey. For before the boy knows how to reject what is bad and choose what is good, the land of the two kings you dread will be abandoned. The Lord will bring it on you, your people, and your father's house, such a time as has never been since Ephraim separated from Judah. He will bring the king of Assyria. On that day, the Lord will whistle to the flies as the farthest streams of the Nile and to the bees in the land of Assyria. All of them will come and settle in the steep ravines, in the clefts of the rocks, in all the thorn bushes, and in all the water holes. On that day, the Lord will use a razor hired from beyond the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria, to shave the hair on your heads, the hair on your legs, even your beards. On that day, a man will raise a young cow and 2 sheep, and from the abundant milk they give, he will eat curds. For every survivor in the land will eat curds and honey. And on that day, every place where there were 1,000 vines worth 1,000 pieces of silver will become thorns and briars. A man will go there with bow and arrows, because the whole land will be thorns and briars. You will not go to all the hills that were once tilled with a hoe, for fear of the thorns and briars. Those hills will be places for oxen to graze and for sheep to trample. There's more to the text, but there's a ton of notes, so I'm going through them as quickly as I can without making it scroll too fast and give you a headache. There we go. This is now up to verse 14. And now let me scroll the other side. Again, tons of notes in this section. Good notes, great notes, but tons of notes. Boop, there we go. Oh, no, there aren't anymore, because that's the end of the chapter. But let me go ahead and pull through the rest of the... There they are. That's the rest of the notes. Sweet. All right, let's move on to James chapter 1. My good friend, Salty James. You'll see what I mean. He's a little salty. All right. Now that we're in a new book, let's go ahead and read the introduction. Sometimes called the Proverbs of the New Testament, the book of James practically and faithfully reminds, somewhat forcefully, Christians how to live, from perseverance to true faith to controlling one's tongue, submitting to God's will, and having patience. This book aids readers in living authentically and wisely for Christ. Many have claimed that James and the Apostle Paul differed on the question of faith versus works, but in reality, the spiritual fruit that James talks about simply demonstrates the faith of which Paul wrote. We'll get there in a little bit, but basically the background behind this is James says, well, someone will come to me and say, well, I have faith, and he'll respond with, well, show me your faith by your works. Because if you just say you have faith, or just say that you believe, but you don't have any natural outpourings of the Holy Spirit within you, then you're going to miss all of these things. It's just the way it works. Anyway, there we go. The writings are complementary rather than contradictory. You'll see it. It'll make sense. Possibly one of the earliest of the New Testament writings, in AD 40 through 50, the book is believed to have been written by Jesus' brother, James, who we talked about in Galatians 1:19. Let's begin, shall we? James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes dispersed abroad, greetings. Consider it a great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. This term complete also means perfect. Now, if any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly, and it will be given him. But let him ask in faith, without doubting. For the doubter is like the surging sea, driven and tossed by the wind. That person should not be expected to receive anything from the Lord, being double-minded and unstable in all his ways. Let the brother of humble circumstances boast in his exaltation, but let the rich boast in his humiliation, because he will pass away like a flower of the field. For the sun rises and, together with the scorching wind, dries up the grass, Its flower falls off, and its beautiful appearance perishes. In the same way, the rich person will wither away while pursuing his activities. Blessed is the one who endures trials, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. No one undergoing a trial should say, I am being tempted by God, since God is not tempted by evil, and he himself doesn't tempt anyone. But each person is tempted when he is drawn away and enticed by his own evil desire. Then, after the desire has conceived and it gives birth to sin, and when the sin is fully grown, it gives birth to death. Don't be deceived, my dear brothers and sisters. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. By his own choice, he gave us birth by the word of truth, so that we would be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. My dear brothers and sisters, understand this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. For human anger does not accomplish God's righteousness. Therefore, ridding yourselves of all moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent, humbly receive the implanted word, which is able to save your souls. But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Because if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like someone looking at his own face in a mirror. For he looks at himself, and then he goes away and immediately forgets what kind of person he was. But the one who looks intently into the perfect law of freedom and perseveres in it is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer who works. This person will be blessed in what he does. If anyone thinks he is religious without controlling his tongue, his religion is worthless. It's useless, and he deceives himself. Pure and undefiled religion before God the Father is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. Pulling up the rest of the notes for you here. And there we go. All right, that is all for today. So, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold, the word of the Lord.